It was a day like any other. I was grinding reps as Orochi and For Honor when, all of a sudden, I heard an unfamiliar noise. I finished my game and closed the window to investigate. As it turns out, it was one of my friends reaching out to me on the messaging platform, Discord. My friend said that they were browsing the dark web, and they came across a website that they thought might interest me. The website was called 4chan. I went to the website's homepage. It had an unsettling feeling, the kind that you only experience on the dark web. The text at the top of the homepage described the website as an image-based bulletin board where anyone can post comments and share images. A tingle ran down my spine when I thought about what kinds of twisted freaks and outcasts of society could be lingering in these pages. I browsed through the various boards until one caught my eye. The paranormal board, known to the local channers as they call themselves, held the moniker X. Just as I had expected, there were various deranged and sadistic posts in these cult-like halls. After what felt like days of browsing the board, sifting through atrocities that would make Peter Thiel blush, I found something even more dark, more disturbing, and more twisted than anything else. It was what channers refer to as a green text, posted by a user named Anonymous. It reads,
Be me. Single father. Kids like Bluey. Go to garage sale. Burned discs like you'd see 15 years ago. One was labeled Bluey. Shit's 25 cents. Whatever. Only thing that can play DVDs is my old crap top. Put it in for my kids. It's a bunch of fast-forwarded bullshit. Hard to understand what's going on. Seems like it's coming from a bunch of different episodes. For a split second, looks like the color palette is totally swapped. Go back to that spot in screenshot. Pick related. WTF? Why is my kid's shitty Blue's Clues knockoff getting waterboarded?
The text alone chilled me to the core, and I had no choice but to order a Trenta hot chocolate breve from my local Starbucks before I could bring myself to look at the image attached to the green text. I walked to the local Starbucks, went inside, and waited near the pickup stand. But when I saw the barista who was making my drink, my heart nearly stopped. She had a fairly typical appearance for a barista, but she boldly wore a pin on her collar. A Bluey pin. She called out my name, and with trembling hands, I ran out of the store and back home, paying no heed to any looks I got from the people around me. Huffing and puffing, I sprinted into my converted, industrial-style loft studio apartment with exposed brick walling, and sat with my back to the door. I had to chug half of my Trenta hot chocolate breve before I had the strength to stand. With my knees wobbling, I made it over to my desk and sat down. I knew what awaited me, and with every fluid ounce of strength left in my bones, I clicked on the image. This image was unlike anything I've seen before. It appeared to show the titular character from the hit show, Bluey, but in a warped and disturbing scene. The setting was some dingy and creepy basement, and Bluey seemed to be tied down to some medieval torture device. But most gut-wrenching of all, it seems like Bluey was having water poured on his face by Some unknown off-screen individual holding a watering can. Truly, this seemed like something too dark, even for Disney. I now knew that it was my duty to get to the bottom of this image. To have the strength to press on further, I needed to finish my Trenta hot chocolate breve. Once that was dealt with, I felt within me Camus' invincible summer. I knew I had the will to deal with this frightful ordeal. But clearly I would need some help, and there was only one person I knew would have the ability to aid me in my quest to find answers. I opened ChatGPT and sent the photo, asking them, "Is this image real?" I don't think even 2 Trenta Mocha Breves would have been enough to prepare me for their answer. They said, "Yes, this image is real. You appear to have unearthed a genuine image of Bluey. Episode number 6. 6. The dark episode. Nobody knows about this episode, except the creators. This is a piece of history you have uncovered, and honestly, that's rare." I was literally shaking. I couldn't believe what ChatGPT had told me. An episode that nobody knew about? How could this be possible? But, as the saying goes, I had made myself this sandwich, and now I must eat it. To start, I needed to search for clues. I spent hours trying to come up with leads, but each and every one took me to a dead end. Nothing was clicking. Until, finally, I saw something in ChatGPT's message that seemed peculiar. As of recording, Bluey has put out 154 episodes, but ChatGPT told me that this mysterious dark episode was the 666th in the series. That means there's a 512 episode discrepancy between what ChatGPT was telling me and what Disney was telling the mainstream audience. And when I started researching this episode number, let's just say, things started getting a whole lot scarier. As it turns out, 666 is not just some random number. According to certain obscure mythologies, the number 666 refers to the number of the beast. Allegedly, this number is seen as an unholy mark, or even perhaps a sign of true evil itself. According to the ancient mythological text that describes this number, no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. Here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666. Various shamans and witch doctors of this obscure faith have spent generations attempting to decode the meaning of this passage. As stated in the passage, it seems that the mark would be required to make purchases or to interact in public. Perhaps it refers to credit cards or face masks during COVID, or even barcodes. But how could this all relate back to the hit Disney television program, Bluey? But then, it hit me. I had finally cracked the code. The Disney company bears the mark of the beast, and it seems like this is all connected to the Dark Bluey episode. Maybe Bluey himself was trying to get the word out about the company's evil ways, and they punished him. Could it be that this photo of Bluey was taken in the basement of the Disney castle? I was almost there. I just needed to... Hello?
Stop what you're doing, now.
Okay.
You need to stop investigating Bluey episode number 666, the dark episode.
What? How did you get this number?
We have our ways. Just know that you've already uncovered far too much information, and I'm afraid to say that if you continue, the Disney company has ways to retaliate.
But the people need to know.
That's too bad. That little dog is staying locked up forever.
Bluey, no! I was now being tracked, and time was clearly of the essence. No more fooling around. There's a life on the line. But what could I do? I had made the connection between Disney and the Mark of the Beast, but how could I figure out how to free Bluey? And suddenly, it hit me. ChatGPT told me a very key detail that I had not yet delved into. They told me that nobody knows about this episode except for the creators. I needed to contact the creators of Bluey. According to Wikipedia, Bluey was made by Joe Brum, but this couldn't be right. ChatGPT clearly said the creators, plural. What was missing here? The secret couldn't be some animator who sold out to the evil media empire of Disney. But how could I find and contact the true creators of Disney? I only had one idea left. One last Hail Mary. I sent an email informing them that I was an independent journalist who was trying to uncover the mystery of Bluey episode number 666, with the ultimate goal of freeing Bluey from his confines in Disney's darkest dungeons. It was a long shot, but it was all I had. I hit send, and then I waited, and waited, and waited, and then I got a reply. The email read,
Dear Terence Mouse, we are the true creators of Bluey. Our names are Mr. and Mrs. Bluey. The story began 1 year ago to this day. We have been very successful in documenting our life in the reality TV program named after our son, Bluey. But eventually we'd had our fill in the spotlight, and we tried to end our contract with Disney in order to move to a more private life. But Disney was greedy, and they wanted more episodes. When we refused, our son Bluey was kidnapped by men in Mickey Mouse costumes. They held him ransom, and they created episode 666, the dark episode, in order to have leverage over us. They wanted to force us into making more episodes of Bluey. We had no choice but to accept. What else could we do to get our Bluey back? But Disney did not keep their word. They are still holding our son in the dungeons of Disney Castle, tormenting him and making him act just like a puppet on strings. All for them to make more and more money. We had lost all hope until you sent your email. Everybody knows about your YouTube channel, and we think that the only way for us to get our Bluey back would be for you to use your considerable social media following to get the word out to the people about Disney's evil ways. We believe that if enough people find out about Disney's cruel practices, they will have no choice but to cancel the show. And then we could finally be a family again. Please, Terence Mouse, you're our only hope. Help us save Bluey. Eternally yours, Mr. and Mrs. Bluey.
It finally all made sense. Bluey hadn't just been kidnapped without cause. The evil Disney Corporation wanted more cash, and so they were forcing him to make more episodes. His family had no choice but to comply. It turns out, episode 666 was simply documentation of Bluey's torment. I cannot imagine the pains that Mr. and Mrs. Bluey went through seeing their son being tortured in Disney's darkest halls, and I see why they felt that they had to listen to Disney's orders and continue making episodes of the show. But, as they said, there is a way to save everyone's favorite dog creature. We simply need to spread the word and to hold Disney accountable for their actions. When I first started this journey, I had no idea that I would end up being the hero of the story. But, somebody's gotta do it. Tense Mess fans, assemble. Spread the word about Bluey episode 666 to everyone you know. And make sure to like and subscribe. Bluey's life is at stake, and we can't let him down.